గ్లోబల్ ఎకానమీ ఒడిదుడుకుల్లో ఉన్నప్పుడు బహుళ రాజధానులు భరించలేని ఖర్చవుతుందన్నారు దక్షిణాఫ్రికా టాప్ బ్యాంకర్ మెహాలే మసిథెలే. దక్షిణాఫ్రికాలో ఎక్కువ రాజధానులు ఉండడానికి చారిత్రక కారణాలున్నాయన్నారు. ఖర్చు, పని నిర్వహణ విషయంలో 3 రాజధానులు భారమేనన్నారు. అధిక రాజధానులు తెలివైన నిర్ణయం కాకపోవచ్చంటున్నారు మెహాలే మసిథెలే. దీనిపై మరింత సమాచారాన్ని దక్షిణాఫ్రికా నుంచి TV5 ఎగ్జిక్యూటివ్ ఎడిటర్ మూర్తి అందిస్తారు.
సౌత్ ఆఫ్రికా ప్రిటోరియా జోహాన్స్బర్గ్ ట్విన్ సిటీస్లో ఉన్నాం మనం. ఇక్కడ ఇద్దరు ప్రముఖులు ఉన్నారు. బ్యాంకింగ్ రంగంలో ఎక్స్పర్ట్ మహాలి అండ్ పొలిటీషియన్ అండ్ ఐటీ బిజినెస్లో ఉన్నటువంటి పీటర్. సో వాళ్ళతో మాట్లాడదాం ఈ కాన్సెప్ట్ గురించి. యా, ప్లీజ్ టెల్ మీ అబౌట్ 3 capitals concept in South Africa.
Okay, in South Africa we have 3 capital cities. This is really for long historic reasons having to do with the unique perspective of South African history. We've got the legislative capital in Cape Town, where the legislature, where parliament sits, and they legislate, they make laws. There's the judicial capital in Bloemfontein, where the head of the judiciary sits. Although having said that, here in Johannesburg, the Constitutional Court sits in Johannesburg, which is the highest court of the land. And then in Pretoria is the executive capital, so that's where the president and his cabinet sit. So those are our three heads.
What was the need for multiple capitals? Any historical reason?
Historically, just the way the country developed, there was a lot of trekking. There was a lot of traveling and a lot of distance, and eventually people gravitated towards Gauteng, where Pretoria and Johannesburg is, to settle and for the gold rush during the time. So that became a hub, but Bloemfontein in the Free State and the Western Cape had already been established from historical reasons. People settled in the Western Cape, coming around the African continent, going from one side of the world to the other. So those become the three hubs. So it's really, I'm oversimplifying it, but that's really the historical reasons why we have 3 capitals. It just has to do with the population settling.
So maintain 3 capitals is very costly, no? Big costly thing?
It does incur costs, both in terms of expense, financial and efficiencies. If you look at most other countries, any other country, the United States, you have Washington D.C. as the capital, where the White House sits, which is the capital of the executive. The Supreme Court sits there, and in Capitol Hill, Congress sits there, which is the legislative capital. So all 3 sit in one fairly dense but narrow area, DC. And so that creates efficiencies that we don't actually enjoy here in South Africa. So, although there are historical reasons to have 3 capitals, because of the distance between them, it does create operational and financial, consequences. Waponya brings an important perspective on that. It's not just the issue of efficiencies, but an issue of, given our history, unifying the country, economically is an important thing across racial lines. So we have, as a country, realized that there are inefficiencies in having 3 different capitals, and we are looking at ways of optimizing that.
We came from India, Andhra Pradesh state, like provinces here, na?
Yes.
So Andhra Pradesh is a state, yes, in South India. My state is planning to implement the concept of 3 capitals.
Right.
So will it work? It's a province.
We don't have enough information to say whether it will work or not. We're not political scientists, but I mean, having said that, it's a big province. I think I looked it up, and there's approximately just under 50 million people. So it is, in African terms, quite sizable. Although maybe in Indian terms, it may not be. But the reasons, the question is, why would you want to do that? Is there any particular strategic reason? Is it going to benefit the country somehow to spread out the capitals? Is it going to empower different people, or is it just an increase of bureaucracy and inefficiency and costs, which the Indian people, particularly in this global economy, can't really afford to take on for its own sake? So if it's ceremonial, we would think that it wouldn't be the wisest. But if there's good strategic, well thought through reasons which have been socialized with the people, the Indian people, and they've received buy-in from the people of the state. For Mr. Maponya, so Richard Maponya, spelled Maponya. So if anyone wants to learn more about the history of South Africa, particularly the socio-economic history of South Africa, he was one of our pioneering business people, the grandfather of black business. So I'd encourage you to look out for that.
Yeah, you can.
Thank